You're listening to JW Raw with Eminem.
We are live.
Greetings, Jackson Wink friends, fans, and family. We have with us today Lawrence Saavedra and Ray Borg. Welcome.
Herrera. Lawrence Herrera.
Herrera. Why did I say Saavedra?
I don't know.
My bad. Sorry about that.
What's wrong?
Herrera. Sorry about that. We were talking hunting, and I had something else in my mind. So, anyway, welcome to the show, guys.
Hey, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Lawrence is with the brand newly launched Performance Ranch. Okay.
Yeah.
And he was working with some other guys and opened up the brand new Performance Ranch with On It as a partner, I guess.
A big sponsor, yeah. On It and Cowboy Cerrone as well. Like we're
a co-partner.
Yep.
And I know Ray Borg now has been with you since before that. And
yes.
How's that going?
Yeah, it's going great. I started with Lawrence shortly before my Demetrius Johnson fight, and it's been a great pairing. As far as relationship wise, and then also for the cardio aspect of it, from everything that comes with having a strength and conditioning coach.
So what kind of stuff do you do that you can't get at a regular like an MMA gym? What are you doing different that you do that we can't do here at Jackson Wink? What are you doing over there?
I mean, the big thing is we're really just taking the more athlete approach to everything, because obviously the fighters are very good fighters, so we're trying to just enhance their fighting skills by doing more of the conditioning and the strength work with them. We don't do any of the skill work. That's all you guys, and you guys doing a phenomenal job here. So we are really working on just getting them stronger. And when I say stronger, it's more like strong enough for their fights. We want to make sure they're not doing too much on a powerlifting side or too much on a Olympic lifting side. We kind of have a balance of everything. Conditioning wise, we really look at what they're doing here and kind of balance it out. Like, okay, you guys are doing a lot of this here or outside of here, so we're going to do a lot more of the higher end stuff. So when I say higher end, our intervals are usually pretty short. We do 8 seconds, 10-second type of intervals, and we've seen to see a big improvement in their overall recovery time. And we use heart rate monitors. We use a lot of technology there. We have our programming on a online application as well, app for the phone, so everything's kind of there at our fingertips.
You're talking about intervals like explosive, like training? Is that what it is?
Yeah, explosive. Exactly. Yeah. So really working on that. And obviously, you guys, in sparring, in the fight, and the conditioning aspect here, and more of the drilling you guys do. It's more of a level of really working on the skill part of it. We're just trying to work on the overall athleticism of that fighter.
Pretty shows in Borg.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because he can go, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's played a real big difference in my game. As far as my cardio wise, I've always had a good cardio base, but everyone starts to feel those lungs burning in the third round, and if you fought a title fight, the fourth and the fifth round. So working with Lawrence and with the Performance Ranch before I fought DJ, I was primarily lifting a lot versus getting that cardio from other aspects, swimming, aerodyne bike, whatever it is. So going into the Demetrius fight, I was not nervous for my cardio, but I had never been 4 and 5 rounds. So that played a factor in the back of my mind, is how I would perform in those last 2 rounds. And going into the third, I wasn't even taking deep breaths, and then going into the fourth and fifth, I was completely fine. I didn't feel any type of fatigue, whether it was cardiovascular or muscular fatigue. And I really feel like that can pay tribute to working with Lawrence at the Performance Ranch.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize, I guess, that like lifting weights, versus like strength and condition that you guys do for MMA is so different. Like even me, when I lift weight, it slows me down.
Yeah.
Like even if I try to grapple, it just like you're tired, you get bulky, and just like you don't move right.
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't realize that there's a science behind it, and you have to do it certain ways.
Yeah, and then
to balance it out.
What's real nice about working with Lawrence and working with the other guys at the Performance Ranch is we're touching on our cardio base without strictly having to get it from our sparring. Most people think that the best way you get your cardio is by sparring. And you have those days where you'll go in there and you'll have a tough round or two, but we're never fighting each other in there. We're not going 100% trying to beat the crap out of each other to simulate a fight. That's just not how it works. That's how people get injured. And then we start turning into AKA where everyone's getting ACL blown out every week. So it's nice to be able to still get a good cardio part without having to rely on your actual MMA training.
And then you pretty much put it all together during the fight.
Yeah,
makes sense.
And I do want to clarify that the Performance Ranch isn't competition with us or anything. You guys are partners.
Yeah, exactly.
With us. It's not like people are saying, well, why are guys going over there if Jackson Wink has this? You guys are actually partners and work in conjunction with us.
It's not an MMA gym, it's just strength and conditioning.
Yeah, strength and conditioning. Yeah, we don't do any skill work.
And I've been watching videos and things that you guys send me. It's get pretty packed, right?
Oh yeah,
guys. We have that specific 3 times a week, right?
3 times a week.
Still that same hour.
Yep.
3 times Monday, Wednesday,
Friday at 1 o'clock, and it varies. Like the way we do our program, it varies every day. So Monday, typically everybody's a little more fresh, even though some of them are coming from sparring here, some aren't. Just depends on what they had done that morning. But we try to go hard that day. When I say hard, I'm talking about more of the explosive work on that day, our short intervals.
How many times a week do you recommend for if you're getting ready for the fight versus not getting ready for the fight?
I would still say 3. Three is a good number, and the reason why is like I said, so Monday being our more explosive, our faster day. Wednesdays are typically more of our threshold day. So when I say threshold, it's more longer sets as far as the weightlifting goes. Of course, I vary it depending if someone has a fight. So if they're coming up close to a fight, within a few weeks or a month or so, then we definitely change that. We make sure they're not doing too much, because that's always a problem too. Like, oh, I got to do more. It's like, no, we got to back you off, because our number one goal is to have them feel fresh here. That's our primary thing we do. We are an assistant to Jackson Winks. We're not trying to compete even as far as a business goes. That's not even. But as far as an athlete goes, right? We don't want them. Oh, they're gonna leave the Performance Ranch fatigued and tired. That's the worst thing. I feel if somebody's fatigued and tired after they left in camp, because they're now going to mitts or they're going to wrestling or going to something else, then I've done them a disservice. I haven't done them I haven't done the proper job to make them feel better for that session. Off season when they're not in camp, then we can go a little harder. We can make them more sore. Those are things that the guys want. The fighters, I always want to be sore, and they're used to that. And that's, I think, ingrained in their mind is they feel that they have to be sore in order for it to be an effective workout. Where I'm trying to teach them, no, that's not right. It's like, especially in camp. I mean, camp is a huge thing. We change a lot for that stuff. But then Fridays is our recovery day. So we do a lot of movement based stuff there. It's just trying to get you to move better, feel like an athlete, get that recovery, because Fridays here at Jackson's are typically a lighter day also. And you guys have seen the same thing, right? They've had a heavy week. Let's pull them back a little bit, because Saturday they may be a little bit more. It'd be more skill work or more wrestling or more mitts. So we just try to balance it all out.
And that's a big thing for any fighters trying to make it, for any fighters coming up. One thing that I've noticed since I've started ever working with any type of strength and conditioning coach is, each time I've worked with them, their main goal, and not just the fighter's main goal, is, how Lauren said, fighters feel like they have to be sore for it to work. That's the same thing goes for most strength and conditioning coaches, who think that in order to give their athletes a good workout, they need to just kill them. So, for a lot of fighters coming up, that's one thing they need to realize, is that it's not killing yourself. Like, even still to this day, I used to be really bad about it, where I would try to squeeze in 5 training sessions a day and just kill myself, because I feel like that's what I needed to do.
What you're supposed to do.
Yeah, that's what fighters are supposed to do. So I would go and, I would just crush it that day and feel like, okay, I got a shitload accomplished. And then the next day when I'd go into training, I just felt god awful. My legs were shaking. I'd get kicked, and I would just feel every little bit of it from being sore. So that's the good thing about the performance wrench is the knowledge going into it. So, you know, if I was to go in and say, hey, I was sparring and I messed up my shoulder a little bit, you know, everything's modified to get around that shoulder, but to still get the work in that we need to recover and things like that. So that's one thing that's really lost with a lot of strength and conditioning coaches, is that they try to kill their athletes to prepare them for a fight.
How far before like when your camp starts, like when do you start heavy, like doing like strength and conditioning? Like I know you say you recommend doing all year long, right?
Yeah.
But like
all year,
I mean,
yeah, usually.
you know,
yeah.
but when you go into a camp, because everyone has different idea of, like, some people do 8 weeks camp, some do 10, right? So like what's your ideal way to start the camp? Like
So for me personally, I mean, there's obviously like the more scientific aspect on when you should start hitting it hard, but for me, I'm there. I try to be there as much as possible, you know, 3 days a week. You know, if not, I you know, I'm taking a rest day, whatever it is. But for the start, for me, if I have the time, I like to start the real hard camp portion about 6 weeks out from the fight. You know, to be honest, that's even if I can get 6 weeks out. The last 3 fights I've had, I've been able to have a full 6 weeks. But, you know, before that, I would get, you know, 4 weeks camps and 5 weeks camps and things like that. Yeah.
What about like going to the mountains and running? Like if you do, like, is it part of strength and conditioning? Is something you do too, or it's just like, so it's like 3 times a week you do strength and conditioning with Lawrence, and then you go and you run in the mountains?
Yeah, you know, if I do any type of running and jogs or anything like that, it's sometimes it's for weight management, sometimes just to keep my lungs open. Me personally, like once in fight camp, once in every other week. My personal preference, more of like a mental thing for me, is I like to go run Copper Trail, which, you know, most people go to the Hill of Tears. You know, I don't quite sprint the Hill of Tears. You know, me and my old buddies, you know, Donald Sanchez and Frank Bach and all my old buddies, we used to run Copper Trail, and it's a hard, you know, 3 and 4 mile up and down.
It's the same way, right?
Yeah. You just fork
like
right,
and
exactly, and then, you know, we one sprint up the Hill of Tears, then we keep going. Me, I like that for a more mental aspect, because if I can run that fast, then I know my cardio is getting good.
You know, that's great advice for the new guys that you gave earlier about how they should take advantage of these strength and conditioning places, because they do it wrong in the beginning probably, and that's how they get hurt, and they can ruin their career so early in their career.
It's pretty affordable too.
Yeah.
It's very affordable, especially
it's
for
us. It's not just hitting a tire and a heavy bag with the bat anymore.
They get bad advice.
It's more scientific.
And Lawrence, you've trained fighters like forever, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're going on 5 years now with Cowboys
them.
camp. You know, we've been, I think we're 17 camps in now.
And you're not just high level guys. I mean, you've got everybody in there from the small, from amateurs on up to the pros. You got
like
3.
You're helping Yana now, right?
I was about to say that.
Yeah, she's coming up in the fight. Yeah.
So Yana Kunitska, man, getting groomed to fight Cyborg.
You got 3 big fights coming up with Yana, of course, Ray, and Cowboy all coming up.
Cowboy's 2 weeks. Yana's 4 weeks. Ray's 7 weeks now.
About 8 weeks.
8 weeks.
Yeah, they moved it to April. You were supposed to probably be with Yana on the same card.
Yana was
they gave her
Boston. Boston.
I was actually supposed to fight in
Austin.
You know, it's going to be.
Yeah, that's right.
Your card is going to be all Russian cards.
It is.
You'll be in there.
Which is cool. I really like the Russians. I really like Khabib. You know what? I said it for a long time.
I trained with Khabib.
I like Khabib because my very first fight in the UFC, everyone just kind of looked at me like, what the hell is this guy doing here? He don't even look like he's old enough to fight. He looks like he's 12 years old.
Nice.
And then Khabib always made his way to like ask me how my weight cut's going.
Awesome.
I had no clue who the guy was. So I've always been a fan of Khabib since then.
Yeah, he became a fan of yours, so you're a fan of his. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
He's a badass.
Yeah, I rolled with Khabib one time, man. Oh my God, man. It's like a brick wall.
Yeah, just like an animal.
Yeah, what a crazy fight, man. I think they never had a fight like that in the UFC where it's like you have one guy like super good, 9-5 win streak, and I got 8-5 win streak, and fight for a title, and that will determine like who is the baddest 155.
Yeah, and he's a.
What's your prediction on that? What do you think?
I think he'll beat Ferguson. I think he'll just put the pressure on Ferguson. Ferguson gets hit quite a bit
and gets taken down.
Yeah.
The only thing is that what stylistically I think is a cool part about it is Ferguson is really, really good on his back. And Khabib is really good on top. So, and obviously Khabib is going to take Ferguson down.
It's going to be a stalemate.
It's going to be like, okay, like this.
Yeah.
You know, who gets
What
screwed from
happened
that?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting how good Khabib's top pressure is going to be put to the test, because with the guy as slippery as Ferguson off of his back, where he's trying to shop for leg locks and omoplatas, like that 10th Planet style. Yeah. It's going to be interesting if Khabib can keep that real heavy top pressure.
The thing is that Khabib is good to shut down the hips, and I think and 10th Planet guys, they need their hips, they need all the omoplata and all that stuff. Khabib's, you saw how he did figure 4 with the Barboza against the cage, and he couldn't move his legs. He shuts that down. Then what do? And then he just grabs him. So I can see that happening again. But who knows, man? Ferguson is just, he cuts you up from the bottom too.
Yeah, he does. He's very dangerous.
Yeah.
So a lot of the strength and conditioning stuff that you're teaching these guys are to strengthen up parts of the body that like their hips and legs.
Hips are so big. I mean, I've seen it with fighters now. Except just working with, I was fortunate enough. I got to work with high level guys first. A lot of high level from
Yeah, you're baptized by fire.
Yeah. Cowboy Cerrone, John Jones, Kyle Noak, Donovan Webb. Like it jumped into a lot of fighters coming in with me, and we always were in a camp. Like it was never a break. So I was always testing stuff out, seeing what we were doing. But the biggest thing I always see with these fighters is just the overall hip strength. And I look at, because they're so used to being in a position with their feet kind of turned out and wanting to turn. I want them to get their feet, straight as far as the training goes. Feet straight, knees kind of align with their feet. So we really work a lot with bands and other types of implements to help strengthen them up there, so then when they go into the ring, they're just stronger overall. Like I use the terminology of, I want you to feel the ground under you and be able to use the ground, because that's big. If they're able to engage through the ground, through their feet, when they have somebody up on the cage, or they're taking them down or whatever, they're able to really get that strength from the ground, because without that contact between their feet and the overall ground, then they can't do what they have to do. So that's a big thing I really try to put in their head, is like, if you're strong here on the ground, you're able to do a lot more.
Yeah,
well, obviously you're doing something right if all these top level guys reaching out to you.
Yeah, you became an overnight sensation with John Jones. I think it was at 214. They had you on Embedded, and
that last.
And you were just all over every promo and everything. So that it's
and what's nice is the attention to the little detail. Like, I always thought I did this great, and then I went to Lawrence, and it turns out my hips were weak, and then my wrists were weak, and I was doing this wrong, and this whole time I thought I wasn't. So it's nice to have those little attention to details with certain things, rather than just going in there, getting on a bike and just sprinting for like 10 minutes and shit like that. It's you're correcting every little thing, even if it comes down to your finger strength or your wrist strength. Everything that will play factors into a fight.
100%.
And that's so true, because he does the little drills with stepping over certain little heights of pedestals and whatever. And
you actually trained me too, so from experience.
And it was weird, because one side of your hip is not as strong as your other side, and you start feeling, man, that actually hurts. I mean, what am I? So it's very, very different the way you train, but it's obviously working, because it's making people play to their weaknesses and stuff.
See the difference.
Yeah,
exactly.
Come back.
Before and after is fascinating. So you're doing a great thing out there, and we're honored that our guys are choosing you to go to. And
so we'll put you on the schedule.
Thank you.
And you've gotten much bigger now with the new place. Where's it at? It's north.
So we're in the north part of town.
By Wings Gym, right?
By Wings, not too far from there. We're on San Pedro and Paseo.
Pretty much San Pedro.
Yeah, it's
or
right
by
there.
Stoneface area.
By Stoneface, yeah. So it's overall it's great. I mean, we have been open now about 2 months. It's crazy though to see. I mean, we opened up with nothing there other than On It provided us with kettlebells and sandbags and things like that. So we had that, but that was it. We had no racks in there. We had nothing. And now we have actual cardio equipment. We got weight racks. We got a lot of things in there. So it's really cool, like to see the change and the evolution. You can see a picture there.
I loved watching the progression of your gym, the pictures you took when
that's
it was
expensive. All that metal.
Yeah,
trying to find some.
we
Especially
worked.
the racks.
Yeah, we worked with. Yeah, there you go. There's our racks. There's kind of. It's almost finished up right there. But like, our equipment's from Samson, which is down in Cruces. So we got a great deal on it because that's all used stuff.
Yeah.
And they refurbished it for us. Yeah, all that right there. They literally did a sandblasting and powder coating, and we got that. That came out of a high school out in Texas.
Really?
They're about 20 years old.
Oh,
so
if it's from
it looks brand new.
If it's from Texas, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
Man, the Texas boys are big boys. They use some
So
big equipment. Yeah.
It was great. Yeah, that's
some construction stuff. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's all the racks are actually. Cowboy and I went. We went down there probably 2 months ago to pick everything up. He's actually out there now.
Cowboys
picking up more stuff right now.
So the Onnit gym,
yeah.
Austin, Texas is the original Onnit gym, I guess.
In Austin, yes. So that's a whole separate. Yeah. So the Onnit gym, we have a lot of education from them that we've used. Our coaches have all been out there. We're partnering with them on the education side. We get to utilize a lot of their stuff that they do. Supplement wise, we get to use a lot of supplements and bring it in. We sell it there at our place also. So we have, from our Onnit, we actually have a lot of free samples. We just have a lot of it there.
Yeah, Onnit's good stuff. I think
on our coffee bar. Yeah, it's great. I mean,
I think we're kind of getting ready to do something with them.
They're
Yeah,
gonna start working.
Great.
And you have Dr. Bo doctors, right?
Dr. Bo Hightowers, yeah.
Yeah, you opened up
he
opened a satellite office over there.
That's going great. Like for the feedback I hear from the docs that are there, which is Dr. Shar and Alicia. They absolutely love it there. I mean, it's a lot smaller place than what they're used to here. I mean, this is something that's big and huge, and it's so just a little smaller. But as far as what they can do, and a lot of their patients live close by, so that's another
from what Alicia said, she loves it over there, so it works out good. I mean,
when you guys pull up one of those pictures, you guys there was a bunch of different people. There was no fighters in any of those pictures, and that's one thing that me and my wife were actually talking about. That's pretty cool about the performance rents is as you can see, that the real ugly kid with the black shirt in there, that's my brother. And what we talked about is how the performance ranch, how cool it is that their facility offers much more than just to fighters. It's not just a strength and conditioning gym for fighters. Like my brother's a competition archer, and all the things that Lawrence does, it helps him out. And then you get cyclists and triathlon athletes, and so to have that diverse of a group is really cool to see from your strength and conditioning coach as well.
Let's talk about that a little bit. The hunting thing. I mean, you guys are big time into that whole
archery
bow hunting.
Bow archery. Yeah, it's fun. The ironic thing is I actually met Ray at the archery range probably 2 years ago. We were shooting together there, and he was like, "Hey, I'm Ray Borg." I was like, "I know Ray Borg. I knew the name. I knew the name, and I had trained one of his athletes when he was coaching at UFC. Fit, yeah. So I actually trained one of his MMA athletes there. She was a young
she
girl.
Like 13, one of my old students from Fit.
So it was awesome. Like I had strength trained her, and he was doing her skill work there. And then Ray came here, and then I met Ray, and it was just it was like, hey, you shoot, I shoot. Cowboys shoots. A lot of the fighters actually shoot. I mean, it's a very I think it's more of a therapy thing. It really is. It just helps you relax. You can, you have to really focus and concentrate, and your breathing has to be in controlled state.
Oh, it's intense, and it takes strength.
It does.
People think it's just something that is very easy, but it takes some strength.
I mean, everyone should
exactly.
It's
like archery hunting's. I've been doing it since I was a kid, and it's just. To be honest, just to even be out there is amazing. Like, so, there's a saying that says a bad day hunting is still better than a good day at work.
That's so true.
And, just being outdoors and, shutting off your phone, being at a phone service, not having to worry about what the hell someone's doing on their Instagram or Twitter. Or
just hitting the target, I guess, feels good, right?
Oh, yeah. And it's, what's weird is it's oddly addicting.
Yeah.
Very, very oddly addicting.
It's funny because I hear, of course, Joe Rogan talks about hunting all the time and about how the meat is just so much better, and it really is. You guys can speak for that firsthand.
Yeah, I mean, you're getting, you know, completely grass-fed organic meat. You know there's nothing going into it.
It says organic at Smith's, but is it really organic?
Yeah,
you know,
and then you shoot an elk. If you're lucky enough to shoot an elk, you got meat in your freezer for
a year.
Like a whole year.
And you're big into animals, right? Animals. You have a lot of animals, right?
Yeah. I have like 5 dogs. I don't know. We lose count.
You guys,
what about your piggy?
No, they got rid of the piggy.
No, we moved back into town.
We ate it.
No, that pig was awesome.
Oh, you didn't.
I used to love those videos and pictures of the pig.
You know what, man? Cool. He was such a cool guy. You know, to be honest, pigs are awesome. I wish we could have kept them, but you know, at the time we lived outside of town. We lived in Edgewood, so we had all that room and things like that. But living in Edgewood kind of got hard during fight camps when I had to be here all day and no one was there with the animals. And then, you know, after that, you know, my wife got pregnant, so she wanted,
by the way.
Yeah, thank you. So she wanted to move closer to town, you know, to be closer for her appointments and things like that. And it's just, you know, you can't really have a pig in the city, you know. You know, some people might allow it, but then it got hard, you know. My dogs, dogs liked them. One of the dogs didn't. So
we can speak firsthand.
We tried to get a goat. We brought it here, like pissed for like 5 minutes straight, like a puddle like this. We're like, in theory, it sounded funny. It would have been cool, like have a cool goat, you know, because goat the greatest of all time.
Producer Nick over there, he had the wrath of the goat at his house.
We gave it to him. He took it home and it like destroyed his house.
It rammed my sliding glass door. I really thought we had a breaking and entering situation.
When we had to like lift the goat and put it in the car, it was like a 30-minute ordeal, man. Because we had like this little. What did we have that?
It was from
dog crate.
A dog kennel. My old
Try to stick it in the crate and it's like resistant.
So farm animals don't belong in the city. So I understand the pig, but it was a cute pig to look at.
He was cool, man. He was super smart. You know, he could sit down like if you give him a treat, like unbelievably smart. He was like twice as smart as my dog.
I used to watch those videos. I'm like, this is so cool, this is badass. And then when you said you were going to sell it, I'm thinking, God, I would love to have that pig, but I don't have the time.
We ended up just giving him, you know, we wanted just to have him a good home. So luckily, where I actually went to school at I went to school in San Juan, New Mexico. It's like a super small hick town. I
thought you were talking San Juan in the South Valley, man.
No.
There's a San Juan in New Mexico.
I went to San Juan, New Mexico, and that's where I graduated high school. And luckily, like, you know, everyone, it's like a super hick town. And luckily, a lot of my friends, you know, from back in high school, they have like farm animals and a whole farm. So I had a guy who was my brother's basketball coach. Like, hey, you know, if the pig needs a place to stay, you know, he can, you know, we'd love to have him. So I was like, yeah, cool. Came down to get him, and you know, now he's living on a farm with other little piggies.
Oh, that's good.
Find a home.
As long as they don't eat them.
Question for you, I guess. How was it like being sharing a cage with DJ, man? Like that was
5 rounds.
You only had 3 fights, right? Before you fought DJ in UFC.
No,
how many you had?
I had 7, I believe.
7?
7 before I fought DJ. But you know what, man? That's actually one thing that I didn't really talk too much about to people. Is that, you know, is when I got in the cage, that's one thing that kind of went through my mind a lot. I didn't, you know, before the fight, you know, the build up, all that shit, it don't bother me like that. You know, that shit don't bother me. But then I got in the cage, and then I stared across and I saw DJ, and I told myself, like, I was trying to get myself hyped up to beat his ass. And
you hear that pin drop in the door.
Yeah, and then I tell myself, I was like, holy shit, I'm fighting Demetrius Johnson. And the reason why I said that is because it's not like a lot of these veterans who everyone's came up together, right? I watched DJ fight in the WC and in the UFC, and I was 15 years old, maybe. Wow. I was still super young, so I grew up watching DJ. I grew up watching, you know, Dillashaw. I grew up watching all these guys, and then to actually get put in the cage with them, it was super surreal to me. Like, it was like, shit, I'm fighting Demetrius. You know, I've watched this guy. I used to watch his highlights when I was bored in high school. You know, I used to, instead of doing my homework, I was watching, you know, fight highlights of Demetrius Johnson or, you know, John Dodson, all these guys.
Never even thinking that this is a possibility.
Yeah,
you'll be right there.
Yeah, so it was, you know, it was a little bit crazy. You know, afterwards, it was like, shit, you know, I could have done a lot better than what I really did. So, you know, hopefully I get that chance again.
Shit, you impressed the hell out of all of us here, man. That was incredible.
That was a good fight, man.
No one saw that last move coming. You know, that was just a weird.
Yeah,
weird
and
highlight.
You know what the thing is too is I laughed during the fight because DJ's such an experienced fighter.
No, he's the GOAT. They're calling him. Come on.
There was shit he did to me during the fight, like second and third round. I actually laughed because I was like, that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. I'll give you that one.
No one saw that coming.
And then the finishing armbar, I knew that suplex was gonna come. I was gonna my plan was to roll with it, create a scramble, get out, and then like that, the armbar came, and I was like, you know what, that was slick.
Whoops!
I just got the UFC game, man, and there's like the highlight of it in there. I'm like,
I know. There's someone.
Oh shit!
I know. Borg.
We saw the first UFC 3 highlight or a commercial, and I was like, oh look, they came out the new UFC game, and I was like, son of a bitch, they used me as the commercial.
You knew that had to go in there.
It was one of the coolest freaking moves
it was
ever.
It was cool.
It's part of it still. It's history.
Kind of like Diego Brandel's helicopter arm, but I mean, it's one of those things you just never see. So of course, it's going to be a highlight forever. You know,
but it is what it is.
No, we're proud of you. We're proud of you. No, Moreno better watch out because that's now you got that behind you. Mm-hmm. The scary part is over.
Definitely top 3. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, number 3 right now.
That's what people don't realize that. That we constantly fighting like top 5, top 10 guys, man. We're producing top contenders, man, non-stop. I know we sometimes on the receiving end, this and that, but it's a never-ending grind.
Yeah, we get so tired of the haters just telling us, "Look, guys, they're on a 25 and 0-25 record." They don't take into account the people that we're fighting. Demetrius Johnsons, we're fighting
cyborgs.
That's one thing. When that article first came out, about how Jackson was on the losing streak, I laughed because I don't pay attention to that shit to begin with, but I did laugh because they're comparing it to King of the Cage wins and Combate America wins, which are top. There's some talented people in those organizations, but they're comparing, high level main event fights and and coming up short in those fights, comparing them to gyms that are winning all these tiny amateur shows,
which we do, our presence in the world and the amateur or low level pro, man, we dominate. We win so many fights.
But like the fights that they're talking about, look at the fights, like how you guys said, Cyborg and DJ and all these guys that all these top guys who are now look at Michelle lost to champ. Now she's the champ.
Rose
and she lost to Tisha, who's fighting for a championship.
There's no there's justification and the
most fights. Actually, Dr. Bull brought it up the right way. It's like probably 70%, 75% of those fights that we lost, we were underdogs.
Yeah.
Because even with Cowboy, he just likes to fight. He's not careful of picking fights or anything like this. He just goes and fights.
Doesn't even know their name.
Most of the time, he don't know their name.
Yeah.
So how do you?
In Cowboy's last fight, he fought a middleweight. Making welterweight,
Carlos still coming back and just not sure if he even wants to fight to begin with, so it's and I think now maybe that fight ignited, maybe some something under him, I guess. Maybe he
get
wants
the fire back in his belly after that.
To fight Brown, so what's happening? It's just never ending grind, man. So we're just doing what we do. It's there's no. So there's funny how people wait to put you down, man, for whatever reason it is. Hate is real.
No pressure, Lawrence. You just get these guys ready.
Yeah, that's the number one goal, is just to make sure that they're ready. They're prepared. That's all I say. Is I've done our job. I've done my job. The performance ranch has done their job to get these guys ready for a fight. Actually, we have a heavyweight too. We have
Marcin,
Marcin's there too.
Tabora,
big fight.
Yeah, so he's on a short camp with us. With you guys, because he's only been here for 3 weeks.
He had a hard time getting visas.
But
for no reason.
But with the luxury of our training, the application that we have, he was training in Poland using our program, and that's one thing too. I got I got fighters. I got Fee right now. I got Kieran right now.
Scotland.
Pedro. I got all these guys. Tyson, Pedro. So they're all using the app right now.
And over in Europe, they're
in Europe, Australia.
And you overwatching it?
I'm overwatching the whole thing. Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
So we're able to program for them, and there's a lot of fighters that have reached out to me from whether they're they're amateurs or pros or whatever from around the world, really. And that's one big thing about what social media has done. It's opened up our doors to bigger things.
Same thing with us.
But they're coming to us or to me through social media and saying, hey, I need a plan. You know, do you have anything? I was like, yeah, we have this right here. So we literally feed it to them. I mean, I charge, like, when those guys come to me like that, it's $10 a month. It's so cheap. Like, literally get on it. They download the application. They have it there. Like, oh yeah, and then we have videos for everything. We have pictures of it all, descriptions of the exercise, how to do it, how many sets to do, how many reps to do. So that's really a cool piece of our gym.
Marcin Tybura is a great example of what we were just talking about earlier with camps. You know, it's almost like they were screwing with him with his visa thing. They held him up for like 3 weeks with his visa paperwork or whatever the heck was going on. There's 3 weeks he missed out in training camp. You know, so now he's going to go fight, and I'm not making excuses for whatever happens, but you know, it would have been nice if he would have been here for that extra 3 weeks with you and with us.
See, that's what people don't see, like what fighters go through. And sometimes that's why, like, we pretty much almost associated to like 75% of fighters in the UFC.
BJ Penn.
Some guy comes here for a week, man. Like, it's like big news because Johnny Hendricks came here.
Yeah, we love BJ Penn.
Like,
he lost, you know,
Jackson
but how much time was he really here? You know, Johnny Hendricks, same thing. I mean, we love the guy, but how long was
Johnny
he actually
working
here?
Me too. Yeah, it was awesome to have Johnny.
He's a great guy. I mean,
he's a legend. But yeah, we had him.
Yeah, I had Derek.
3 weeks.
It's like Derek Bronson lost his fight, right? And I get this message from somebody, you know, talking about blah blah blah. Like, he hasn't done camps here for like, he's got
2 years now. Yeah.
He's got like 3 kids, right? And he's like hard time making it here. So
he trains at
people
home.
don't see that. Like, it's like once Jackson Wink fighter, like you fight forever. Jackson Wink fight. So even if you don't train here anymore, you're still like associated with it. And your loss is like our loss. So because people don't know, they just remember him being, you know, our fighter. So just strange.
Yeah,
this is what it is.
It's rough. It's rough, but we appreciate that you're there for them and helping.
Oh, it's
them
awesome.
out.
No, it's great. And we're, like I said, you know, Marcin actually trains with Esteban there. So this is his second camp.
He's the big boy,
so before Verdum, right? It was the last fight. Yeah, before Verdum. I mean, Verdum is, you know, amazing. I mean, it's a shit world champion, whatever.
He beat who's of who.
And for him, for
Marcin to go 5 rounds.
To go 5 rounds. I mean, with the heavyweight, the best in the world. I mean, the guy who can put you on the ground and kill you, pretty much. He was there, and it went to the cards. I was like, holy shit, dude!
Marcin's a champ. Great. He was M1 global champion.
He was awesome.
Back in the day. He went through like a killer's row in Russia, man. For like when M1 global was actually like on top, like old top Russia.
Yeah, he's still young. I mean, he has a lot of life left.
I like Marcin a lot.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. So Ray, you done for the day, or you got some stuff with Wink later, or
no, not today. I have a session with Wink. Yeah, we might go ride, might go shoot. One of my new bow came in today, so
nice.
Might have to get that set up.
Bicycle ride, mountain biking.
Mountain biking, yeah. So that's funny. Like, Ray's been riding mountain bike for a couple years now, and I've been riding for years. I used to race a lot. That was like my sport. I was racing a lot. Ray and I started riding together 2 months ago, something like that.
Yeah.
I got the mic.
We lost.
There you go. Okay, cool. Yeah. About 2 months ago or so, we started to ride together, and it was fun, like, to see all these guys who, you know, are athletes, but then to put them on other things, like, oh shit, they're still athletes even on a bike, and a bike is skill. It's a lot.
Mountain biking ain't no joke.
Exactly.
I mean, that's the real. That's some serious cardio and strength. And,
I want to get into it when it gets warmer.
You need everything for mountain biking,
especially in this terrain.
Yeah. Cowboy now, it's funny. Cowboy's been riding a bike for 5 weeks.
John Jones always goes.
John goes. Cowboy owns, I think, like 10 bikes now. In the last 5 weeks, it's nuts. Like, it's, you know, he has a whole fleet for everybody.
Yeah, it's funny. He's got a fleet of motorcycles, fleet of bicycles, fleet of RVs, a fleet.
Airplanes next.
Yeah.
When is Amanda due?
May 5th.
Boy, girl, you said?
Boy.
And name picked up?
Yeah, his name's gonna be Anthony Ray.
Anthony
Nice.
Ray. That's
You gonna put him
awesome.
in MMA or no?
No,
Too early
I don't
to
know if I'm
wrestling.
like-
Wrestling though.
Yeah,
Wrestling.
yeah, but, you know, my kid don't know how to defend himself, and you know,
100%, you always have to.
and things like that. But if he don't want to fight, I don't want him to fight. You know, I don't want to see him get punched in the face for a paycheck. You know.
We're so excited when
Although
you,
there could
when you
be
guys
some
announced
serious
that.
paychecks when he grows
Yeah,
up.
it
Probably
could
this
be.
is the way
It
sport
could be.
going. It's like
You know.
It's like our little. It's gonna be like our little grandson walking around. So we take that so personal.
Yeah.
It's so cool. It's a family, you know.
Yeah, it's gonna be. You know, it's pretty cool. I'm excited. You know, it's gonna be a different
first
type
kid,
lifestyle.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
first kid. Kind of. I have like a overgrown kid.
oh.
I've been taking care of my brother for like the last
Oh,
5
I
years.
see.
So
Well, you've had a lot of practice with like your brother and all your pets. So this is definitely next level.
Amanda fights, right?
yeah,
Is she
you
gonna
know.
go back to competing? Or she's
Yeah,
gonna take care of kids. all full
You
time?
know, we'll take some time off. Like that's why I'm glad my fight's falling in April, a month before the due date. So, you know, I'll be able to take a little bit of time off to help with the baby, and then you know she's biting her nails to get back
Well,
in.
Mandy had a fight announced just before she announced the pregnancy. So,
Yeah.
she had to.
It was like
back
the
out of that.
first
She-
secure fight we've had. 'Cause
Yeah.
Amanda has like the worst luck with fights. She'll get booked
I
for
know.
fights.
She's kind of like Celine.
Celine.
She just no one
Yeah,
wants to.
just horrible luck. Like, you know, there's been times when we were at our old gym fit where they're like, yeah, you know, we got you a fight here. Let's start selling you tickets. You know, sell tickets, and then you'll fight, shit like that. And then week of the fight, hey, no opponent.
I watched
you
that
ain't gotta
social
fight.
People don't
media.
realize how hard it is in the beginning, man.
It
You
is
see
very
all
hard.
the time, man. There's no
Yeah.
money in it. People
Mhm.
are picking and choosing. They're like
Yeah,
this
and like
and that, and they hide.
to be honest, I told Amanda like a month ago, I was like, damn, you know what makes me sad is how much money I lost fighting as a pro. Like, you think that, like, I never thought about it, but like I think, okay, I'm about to get $1,000 paycheck. I'm gonna make $1,000. I never took into consideration the money I spent to get that $1,000.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm pretty sure I lost money every fight I ever fought.
Sure. Yeah.
So you know, it's rough, you know, coming up in the beginning.
Lawrence, you're expensive.
Yeah. No, our stuff. Yeah.
Just messing with you.
Yeah, Lawrence is inexpensive.
He's the
to be
cheaper
honest.
end of the thing. It's
Yeah.
all the food and other supplements.
The medicals and
medicals,
shit like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
Marcin was walking around downstairs with he just got his UFC medicals done and his eyes were all dilated. He couldn't train, you know,
Yeah.
because
Mhm.
this stuff is intense, man. Poor guy. You guys got to go through hell. And of course, USADA just 30 minutes ago you were out with USADA.
Yeah, I hate when USADA comes just because they only come. The only reason why I don't like when USADA comes is because they come at the worst possible times.
Yeah,
like,
that's funny.
At least this guy was cool enough to let me train. I've had guys that's like, all right, no, let's go do this test real quick, and I miss 3 rounds of sparring and only get 2 in.
Yeah, this is a new guy. There used to be another guy that used to come in, but this guy's been coming in
This
for a
guy's
few
nice
months now. He's
Yeah,
pretty
he's a
cool.
good
I
dude.
spent an hour yesterday with USAD on the phone,
Mhm.
talking, translating.
Jones.
No, talking to Yana.
Oh, yeah.
With Yana, because when you sign, I guess they have to debrief you and
Mhm.
stuff. So they had on the phone, so I had to translate and then go into like slides and stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's pretty complicated process, man. Not like complicated, but mostly annoying process
Yeah.
for the
Yeah, you
fighters.
know
if
what?
think
The-
about-
yeah, so
Because you have to keep track of like everything, man. Yeah, I tell Yana, like Yana, you know, it's just like I have to write down everything that I eat. Like especially say if you go out of town,
yeah,
like if you
Well,
eat like Mexico, you eat like meat and stuff. It's like
Yeah,
you write down
Mexico's
where
horse
you
meat,
ate.
yeah.
Mexico's notorious for having like steroid products in their meats, but what I think's the most annoying thing is like it's like being on probation. You know, you have to you have to fill out your whereabouts, and they have to be so specific.
That's
like,
a good way of looking at it, actually.
yeah, it's like being on probation. Like for example, there's been a couple times where I was like, it says on my schedule that I'm supposed to be here. And, you know, on days where I'm relaxing and I want to take a day off, and let's say I'm out running errands or, you know, going to the mall, shit like that, and they're calling me, they're showing up to like 8 different places, and it's like, hey, where are you at? And it's like, damn it, you know, you can't even just go to the mall without them being up your ass
Yeah.
about you need to be here at this time. You know, it kind of sucks.
Do you think UFC is going to resign with USAD? Because I believe they are approaching there like.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I think they've lost too much money.
Yeah, I
on
think something's
big
happening. Yeah.
fights.
There's with this John Jones things cost him
I
so
think
much
it's
money.
too
that-
strict, too weird, man.
Yeah.
Like they're
Yeah.
looking at like on the microscope, man. Like on the microscope, man. Literally, man.
Yeah.
24/7. It's like really, man.
Plus, yeah.
I mean, as a professional athlete, I would assume, you know, like I work myself up to this to enjoy it, you know, not being
Mhm.
freaking scrutinized
Mhm.
for freaking he eating tainted meat. And
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Like when it comes to
Every
that
month
stuff, I have
somebody-
such a paranoia with that. Like
Yeah.
anything I ever put into my body, I call Jeff Novinsky and I'm like, hey, this is what I'm about to take. I've never taken it before.
Yeah.
Is it clean? Any type of medicine I take, I
know, right?
Google it.
It's like standby.
Yeah, like we'll be in the store and I'll be like, I don't feel good. I'm trying to get medicine, and people will just look at me because I'm reading all the
Yeah.
direction or all the ingredients, and
Yeah.
I'm typing it into my phone, and we're there for like 20 minutes before I find a result and like find an actual medicine I can take, because I don't want to be one of those guys that gets stripped a part of their win bonus and
Yeah.
out up to a year.
Yeah, for like
it's a-
very little
This
small thing.
USADA is a freaking pain in the ass, man, and it's costing people a lot. Like Mateus, he's a perfect example. Poor kid, he got popped last year. When was it? 2 years ago now,
Yeah.
and he had his year suspension, and he
Got
wanted.
screwed out of money. Couldn't come make
Yeah,
for
he
camps
wanted to
here,
come back to
this and
camp, but he
that.
couldn't afford it, obviously, because he spent so much money trying to defend it. And
Yeah, and that's
he
same
lost
thing.
sponsors, and
That's the same thing with my friend Tim Means over
Yeah,
at,
Tim,
at
yeah,
Fit.
exactly.
He's one of the guys that don't even look like he takes steroids. He looks like he's taking cheeseburgers or something.
But he won. he won his case though.
He did,
Yeah.
but man, the amount of money he had to come out of pocket just to prove his innocence was insane. Like just stupid amounts of money.
Yeah,
And
but it's
not like-
bullshit. So it's basically just a bunch of nonsense. So yeah, USADA's just got to go away. But and they'll come up with something, but it's something fairer than what they're doing, because they're just destroying
I
lives.
think maybe something like in competition, something then, but like,
Yeah.
your whole outside, whatever, should go. It's like,
Mhm.
if you're in competition on something, then I don't know. I mean, who am I to say? So yeah, how much time we have?
Well, we're going to take a little break here so we can talk about our sponsors. We
Yeah.
got a little sponsor. We got a brand new sponsor that we can talk
Oh,
about.
that's true.
The Fire Team Fit people over at brand new sponsors. We just got them signed up. We had a meeting with them, and they're going to bring in some equipment to the gym, and we're going to partner up with them, and it's maybe something that you guys can look at
I'm gonna see that
at
chalk
your
right
gym.
there. That's pretty cool.
I gave Yana a belt and choke. It's very cool. She'll use it.
No,
She
we-
said on Friday she'll ask you to make
We
a
need
little
some
video.
chalk. Yeah.
They sell like home operated business, small business guys, a veteran, sells like 70,000 belts a year
Wow.
online on Amazon. 70,000. It's like one of the top rated workout belts.
And he's a badass Marine.
He's a badass
Looks like a nice
special
guy, yeah,
forces.
sure.
He works out,
He's
obviously.
into hunting.
So Nick brought him in. So
Cool.
yeah. So thank you so much for supporting.
But
So they're supporting the show and
yeah,
stuff.
go
And the
out.
choke is great because you put it on the hands.
No,
There's
it
no
looks
mess.
awesome. Yeah.
And then you like shake it off, and then it's like it's not wet, and it's sanitizer too, so it keeps your hands
That's
clean.
awesome.
And then you grab it. It feels like when you do like this, feels like
Yeah.
choke, but then it's not.
Well, I was just talking to the guys just literally right before we came here about getting a chalk bin, but it's just I hate it because it's a mess.
Yeah, this is not.
Well, they're a
nice.
local company too, so
Oh,
it's
cool.
just so we can give you his information.
I'll
But
talk to him for sure, yeah.
fireteamfit.com, guys, go check out their stuff. They're a local company, but they ship worldwide. Literally,
Cool.
they're sending hundreds of thousands of belts all over the place, and so it's they're obviously doing things right. They found a good business model to
Great.
work with. And then our longtime original sponsor, CBD Boutique. Local.
Have him on the phone right now, talking to Bill.
There you go. Billy at CBD Boutique. They've been sponsoring us since the beginning. You guys know anything about the CBD oil? You guys
No,
messed with it at all?
There's some discount
I've
code.
read about it definitely, and I have my mother-in-law actually uses it for pain, for nerve pain and stuff.
Yeah.
It's
Some
been a
di-
miracle.
discount
So
cards
so
and
UFC
offers.
so UFC
50%
UFC guys obviously were extra paranoid of
Yes.
it because it was on the do not even look at, touch.
Now it is.
But as of 2018 January, it's
Mhm.
totally legal
Yeah.
to.
They here on Central Avenue, very close to us, and
Right
they
by
get
the
they're
university.
pretty. They're doing very well. They do a lot of great things.
just
and,
opened up a second location on the west side, so they're expanding.
They get
so-
their stuff from Colorado Farms, obviously clean
Okay.
stuff.
Mhm.
So, and it's taken off. Remember when Nate Diaz smoked that
Yeah,
vape
and then
thing? After
everybody
that,
went
it just
nuts.
went boom. It's like, he pretty much started the whole freaking
Yeah.
industry, man.
Yeah,
That's
sure.
funny.
Yeah, it's funny. Right after his fight, I think it was like immediately after the fight during the press conference, he came out smoking CBD oil, and they're like, "Hey, what the heck?" But
How old are you now, Ray?
24.
24. And you had already 7
God
fights,
damn.
you said, right?
So
In
good.
UFC in
8
UFC
now.
8 in UFC.
8 UFC
Just a
fights.
baby.
That's a lot of freaking fights in UFC. So, I mean, your career just begins. So by the time you're like, whatever, man, it's going to be...
Yeah.
I mean...
Sometimes, what's that?
No, so you were 24 when you fought DJ, or you were
24.
Wow, holy crap,
Wow.
man.
Yeah, I made my debut at 20 years old on 2 weeks' notice, and then the rest is history. You know.
Yeah, I remember watching you fight Smolka, right? That fight you fought him, right?
Yeah, I was with Jackson's when I fought Smolka.
Yeah. That's
Smolka
your
was
first
actually my
fight.
first fight with Jackson's.
Yeah.
Did you watch the Mateus versus Smolka?
Mhm.
That was a good fight, too.
It was a
right?
good fight. You know,
Yeah.
Mateus looked good. Smolka looked like he was a little bit more motivated, so it made for a fun fight.
Where's
you know?
Smolka trains? He's
Hawaii,
right?
Yeah, it's like that. That
Somewhere over there.
that gym that Holloway trains at. I think they
so all
they
the
kind of
Hawaiians.
like So I made my debut when I was 20. Came here almost 2 years ago. 2 years ago in July.
What made you switch? I mean, you were
I just
need partners, right?
I just needed a little bit higher level training. I knew that I was at a point in my career that it was either gonna be I could stay where I'm at and just keep fighting for paychecks and fight, halfway competition, because that's about what I was prepared for, or I can make a hard ass decision and go down the street where everybody over there hates here.
And it was a hard ass decision because the lawsuits started
Why do
coming.
they hate
after.
us, man? Why like all this?
I don't know,
teams,
man.
Like, we never done anything to anyone, man.
Honestly, the
I guess
beef,
it's-
like people ask me all the time, they're like, hey, what was the beef with Fit? There's a Fit and Jackson's rivalry. And I told them, I was like, you know what, man,
There's no
I'm pretty
rivalry.
sure that rivalry started when I was like 7 years old. Like that is way before my fucking time. So I have no clue what it's about.
Yeah, it was Greg and the owner. I mean,
There's a
they
picture
trained
of,
together.
there's a picture of Greg and Tom
It's a
together.
perfect, it's
Yeah.
a perfect saying that they hate us because they ain't us. Like but there's no like reason. Like it's we
Yeah.
don't give any reason to anyone. We don't go after. We don't try
He's
to.
actually
we
got a
never
lot of
back talk. You
Yeah.
know, but everyone attacking at the time, I guess.
And Greg just talked about that. We were talking about that last
Yeah.
week. He has a lot of respect for Greg. He's got nothing against Greg. I mean, it's there's no ill will towards them at all. It's just one of those things that. I mean, without a rivalry, I guess you can't.
Yeah,
exist. There has to be that rivalry.
Yeah, so I don't know.
One
what
thing
it's
is a
about.
healthy rivalry where you just compete doing this, but when people start doing them dirty shit,
Well, there are
and
some
like to
gyms out
kinda
there.
sticking into
Well,
you,
yeah.
that's bad, man.
Yeah.
That shows your true character.
Yeah,
man, as opposed to-
rivalry is
'cause
good. Like
course, it's
Jackson's
like-
versus ATT.
AKA this
But
and
when
that,
you
this.
start obsessing over it and like worrying about what they're doing, and
Yeah.
if you go
Trying
see
to-
Bo Hightower and you're part of Fit, it's like, oh shit, it's the end of the
Yeah,
world type
yeah.
deal. So
The pictures of you walking into the Jackson Wink. What's going on?
oh yeah,
no, I was there for Dr.
that's-
Poe.
Yeah, it's horrible, dude. Like horrible. I think I had someone tell me like, hey, because before I came here, I actually came and saw Bo, because I've known Bo for a while, and I'm pretty sure someone was like, hey, we seen your Jeep parked outside of Jackson's. What are you guys doing there? And it was like,
Spies everywhere.
it's horrible.
Isn't
So
it funny? Yeah,
It's my life, man. Like, I do what I fucking want.
and then when I left, it was ridiculous, man. People were freaking out, like, oh, you left us, and like, the funny part is people who didn't really matter were freaking out, like people who were just like parents to students and other people, like I still have my true friends that are there, like for example, Nico Montano is actually the 25-pound champ now for the UFC. She's a good friend of ours. Steve, I still have my real good friends there, but the most random people flipped out on us and like started bashing us, and got to the point where they like I had autographed a picture for someone, and they burned it and put it on Instagram.
Man.
But the funny thing is, Amanda was like, that's fucking
like a jersey or something.
Yeah. Like, what the hell's wrong with them? And I told her, I was like, to be honest, that's kind of weird as hell. That's like obsession status. Like,
it's like the Raiders jerseys.
so-
You left Oakland. I'm burning the jersey.
And like what I told a lot of people is that, so Donald Sanchez came from Fit, Carlos Condit came from Fit. I felt like I got the most heat out of anybody there, and I was the only one to do it the real proper way. And it, I thought I was gonna have to fight Tom right then and there. Tom looked like he wanted to fight me, and I was trying to be as calm as possible. And and then I got a lawsuit.
Yeah, he literally sued you.
Yeah, he tried to sue me. And the bullshit part is like, I was on a 3-year contract with him, and I waited till I waited out my 3-year contract, and then I told him I wanted to to do something else, train somewhere else. And then he stuck me with, it says in the contract that if I didn't want to renew my contract, I had to give him a 90 days notice.
Like a written notice or
yeah,
something?
a 90-day
geez.
written notice type deal, and I gave him a month. Notice. So, he couldn't have just squashed it and left it there. He tried to come after me, and it all ended up just washing out. So,
well, you got to get Miss Matano maybe to come on over or something.
that's gonna be up to Nico. Nico, I like Nico a lot. So she.
Tim Means is over there too.
Tim Means is over there.
Who are they training with? Like this, like if you would think, like, I mean, not to say anything, but I mean, everyone's here. Just like like. I mean, if you wanna see where you stand, obviously this is where you test yourself. Right?
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of young talent at Fit. There's a lot of young amateurs that are really, really good. But for someone at the caliber of like a high level UFC fighter, the pickings were kind of slim. On who you were training.
Well,
with.
and that's why Claudia was coming over here. That started a big old mess.
Partners,
There was nobody over at the other gym, and so she needed some training partners. We got a lot of females, and it is what it
makes
total sense to come over here and train with the best.
Well, with Nico, for instance, I actually trained her before this last fight. Yeah, she.
Wow.
I got her for
so you helped
12 weeks.
you helped get that
so
belt.
I've been,
all right, look at that. You can take credit.
Yeah, so as far as that, I mean, we had 12 weeks to prepare for the finale of the Tough Show, and that was great because I mean we had to keep it kind of
secret.
Exactly.
I remember that
the whole time. We're like, hey, yeah, she she has a fight. We obviously knew what
couldn't
she was
talk about
doing.
it.
Yeah, we couldn't say anything till I think it was 2 weeks out. We can finally actually hey, we have a title fight. But
so who's your competition, strength and conditioning?
well, I mean, I wouldn't say competition. I mean, I try to talk with as much as we can. I obviously used Athlete Ready here in town as a training place. I was part of Elevate also, so I mean we all kind of share in that world now, as far as the athletes that we see. But we obviously have a lot more of them now. It's just
you guys all have your.
Is it the same thing? Well, because when you go separate ways like this, is it the same type of disdain for each other? And like, no.
Well, I mean, it
happens a lot in MMA world for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of stay in touch. I mean, actually, with it just depends, right? Where we're at. I've been fortunate enough that in the MMA world, I've got to present on a national stage at the Performance Institute in Vegas. I was nominated last year, which is complete surprise to me as a strength coach trainer of 2017. I was blown out of the water.
Wow.
Oh wow, how did that happen?
By which fighting?
Fighters only. Fighters only. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
shit.
Yeah, that's the biggest source right now, man. When in MNH, that means you made it.
Yeah, I was like, holy shit!
They do red carpet awards, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how we got. We've been in every magazine. Like I get this magazine every month, and us, whichever is either Greg, Wink, or you, or whoever, and every issue.
Yeah.
So there's a mention of the gym or one of the fighters.
No, it's awesome. It's awesome to be part in that level. I mean, I try to learn from as many other coaches around. One of my mentors is in Denver, and he's out there. Lauren Landau, and he trains X Factory, or is that what's called, X Factory or X Team X, or whatever. And he trains so
many gyms open up.
Elevation guys. He trains several of those fighters, but he's been in the fight world for a long time, probably 15 years now. I mean, when the UFC was small, and he's been able to train a lot of those guys. So it's great. Like, I get to be on the stage where I can call these guys up now, and they actually know who I am. Say, hey, I got so and so. He's coming from your camp, or I got this. What do you think? And that helps out a lot. Like, it's
nice.
good to have that kind of pull now, to be able just to call them or text them and say, hey, can you help me with one of your guys, because they're here for three weeks? Oh yeah, sure. This is what we've been doing. Okay, great. So that helps out.
Well, it's actually good that we have you around, man. Definitely good, because like we were at one point, I was, because we don't have strength and conditioning here per se, So it's good to link up like that, because Wink never wanted to focus on that because it's a different aspect.
A little different, a lot different.
So you having you close, and having you on schedule is.
Yeah.
Well, we're honored. We're honored to have you part of the team, and you know, we wish you luck in the future with all your.
We'll win
with
some
your
belts
athletes.
together. I guarantee, and that's one of them. I 100% believe, man. I mean, so young and so many more years in competition, man. You're gonna be up there in no time. One more fight, 2 more fights, man. You know, you could be potentially fighting for title again. And DJ ain't going to fight there forever. Maybe you'll fight him again. Maybe you'll get up there if he fights that long. If he doesn't, you know, the belt is going to get whatever. You know,
he's got 10 more years of fighting.
I know, DJ ain't going to be there.
It's a long time.
Yeah, and I'm
considering how long I've been in the sport, that's a long time.
You're pretty fresh, though.
Yeah.
Like, in combat here.
36 is nothing anymore with some of these fighters, so I think he's still got a long career.
You're lucky, because that's how you see all this, like, we talk about all the time, all this, like, veteran fighters that still stay in the game, even though they should be probably retired, right? Not that we have to say that, you know, but they made their name, you know, and now they gain this big purse, because back in the day, you know, they didn't make money. They made the sport, right? They came up, and now it's hard to walk away when you get $500,000 for a fight, you know.
That is true.
You know, so, but you already, you know, they paved the way, so for you can actually have a very productive career and not take as much damage and walk away, actually, and not fight till you're 50.
What's cool is I've been in this game since I was like 13, and like when I tell people I've been in this game, I've been in this game. Like all the local promoters, all these people, all the fighters from around here, I've known these guys. And like, for example, Barata likes to tell the story of like when he first met me, is he was like frustrated because I was like 15 years old, and I just went in and just like he hosted a tournament. I just swept it and just beat all his dudes. And he's like, "Who the heck is this young guy? Who's this guy? What are they putting in the water in Tuku Carry?" And then so you know, all these guys I've actually known for a really long time. So it, you know, it's nice to feel like I've also came along with the sport, you know, from a young age.
Well, Ray,
you're Albuquerquean, right? You're born here, right?
No, I wasn't born in Albuquerque.
No, Sanjo. You said New Mexico.
I was, well, man, I've had such a rough childhood.
Where is Sanjo, New Mexico, anyway?
It's like an hour away from Amarillo, Texas. But like I've been all over the place. Like I actually just found out, this is a funny ass story, is I found out, so I was born in Tucson, Arizona.
Oh shit.
And the reason why I was born in Tucson, Arizona is because my family are typical Mexicans. And I asked my mom, so I was like, "Hey, how long were we living in Tucson before, you know, we moved here after I was born?" She's like, "We weren't even living in Tucson." I was like, "Well, then why the hell was I born there?" She goes, "Well, funny story is your dad had a warrant out for his arrest."
Oh, that's awesome.
So we were there for court, and I just so happened to go into labor when we were there. I was like, man, I told them, I was like, "Man, you guys are just some typical Mexicans."
So do you have an Arizona birth certificate?
I do. I have an Arizona
awesome.
birth certificate.
That's
yeah,
hilarious,
but then I've bounced, man, any small town you can name here in New Mexico, I've lived there. You know, Silver City,
so
Hurley.
You're a natural born fighter, no?
Yeah.
There you go. You've been fighting your whole life.
Fighting
for your birthrights. What state are you from? Nobody.
That's like the hardest question. People are like, "So where are you from?" I'm like, shit, I can't call it,
pick
man.
A place. Pick a place. And just put a pin in the map.
Close my eyes and start circling my finger on a New Mexico map, and I'm like, there. That's what.
Oh, Ray, we want to thank you for coming on the show today. I know it was kind of last minute. USADA was out there with you, and Lawrence tracked you down. And
it's all good. It's my pleasure.
You should have brought USADA over here and bust their chops.
And Lawrence especially, thanks for coming on. And
thanks for having me. Yeah, it's been great.
Good luck with the new place. I don't think you need luck. I think it's doing just fine, and it's just going to get bigger from here.
That's my problem all the time, like wishing someone like, "Hey, good luck," but then at the same time, you don't need no luck. So it's like, how do you wish someone like luck without actually? It's not like luck. You don't say, you don't want to say like. Because then people always will say something back is like
I
don't need no luck. Yeah, I don't need no luck.
He's got skill. He doesn't need luck.
Yeah.
But thanks, guys, for tuning in. Make sure you watch us on any of the different social medias we have. You can log on to Google Play, Apple iTunes.
Come train with us. Come train with this beast.
Yeah, come try it out. Yeah.
And get better. On. There's so many great fighters here. It's like the fighters' haven.
How do people get a hold of you, Ray, on your Instagram?
You guys can follow me at Tazmex UFC on Instagram and Twitter.
Tazmex.
TAZMEX UFC. Yep.
And Lawrence?
At Performance Ranch is our
Performance Ranch.
At Performance Ranch, and then at Lawrence Herrera. I mean, either one. Right there.
Nice.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time.
See ya.
Through these doors walk the greatest fighters in the world.